Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got breaking news coming out from Ukraine to share with you. So, over the last few months, we have been discussing on multiple occasions reports about Russian soldiers executing Ukrainian POWs on the battlefield. Those are prisoners of war. So, there's been multiple occasions where we have had Ukrainian soldiers surrendering to the Russians, and lots of videos have popped up all over X over the last, I want to say, maybe 2 to 4 months now, of Ukrainian soldiers being executed on the battlefield by Russian soldiers. Okay, so now we have this huge report coming out today from the prosecutor general's office from Ukraine saying that Russian soldiers have executed over 124 Ukrainian POWs on the battlefield. Okay, guys, over 124 executed Ukrainians. That's huge. We have heard of dozens, but I had no idea it was upwards of 124 or more being executed on the battlefield. So I want to talk some more about this today and bring you guys this report. This is pretty insane. I also have some information regarding Ukraine. And just over the last couple of weeks, we heard that the Biden administration was going to be approving a $6 billion amount of aid over to Ukraine. And it looks like now that we know that Donald Trump is going to be getting into the White House here very soon, and we could even be hearing that aid going over to Ukraine could be halted, looks like the Biden administration is going to fast track this aid over to Ukraine very soon, as there's only a couple months left before Donald Trump is inaugurated into office. Okay, so I want to show you guys this report real quick regarding these executed Ukrainians. So, from the Kyiv Independent, Wednesday, November 6, 2024, is when this came out just today. Russia has executed at least 124 Ukrainian POWs on the battlefield, Prosecutor General's office says. Okay, and it says down here, Kyiv knows of 124 Ukrainian prisoners of war, or POWs, who were executed by Russian forces on the battlefield throughout the full-scale war, a senior representative of the Prosecutor General's office said on November 6. Reports of murders, torture, and ill treatment of Ukrainian prisoners of war are received regularly by Ukrainian authorities and have spiked in recent months. Most cases were recorded in embattled Donetsk Oblast. So it looks like in the Donetsk region of Ukraine is where we hear a lot of these reports coming out from. As you can see, Ukrainian authorities have been aware of this for months now, and I've been reporting this to you guys at least for 2 or 3 months now of these cases of these soldiers being executed, okay? So speaking on national television, Denis Lysenko, the head of the department focused on war-related crimes, said that 49 criminal investigations were underway regarding the execution of Ukrainian POWs. The most recent cases include the killing of 6 captured Ukrainian soldiers near Pokrovsk in Donetsk Oblast, prosecutors reported on November 5th. We are now analyzing all these cases, looking for patterns. We are considering all these cases comprehensively, and the involvement of a particular armed unit is, of course, analyzed in each case, Lysenko said. According to him, prosecutors are building cases against representatives of the Russian military leadership who may be involved in organizing such executions or in failing to take measures to prevent them. Okay, so regarding this information here, we did recently hear that Kadyrov, the leader of the Chechens, was coming out and saying that essentially any Ukrainian troops that they would capture, they would not take them as prisoner. In other words, saying that they would most likely execute them. Now, we haven't heard of the Chechen forces that are fighting with the Russian units to be executing more of these Ukrainian soldiers, but maybe we'll hear about that in the near future. But it looks like there could be potentially several units of Russian forces that are executing troops as they capture them, okay? So former Prosecutor General Andrei Kostin called the killing of Ukrainian servicemen in captivity a deliberate policy of Russia. Some 80% of the cases of executions of Ukrainian POWs were recorded in 2024, but the trend began to appear in November 2023 when there were changes in the attitude of the Russian military personnel towards our prisoners of war for the worse, said Yuri Belousov, a senior representative of the Prosecutor General's office. So very crazy news to be hearing about this, and very sad that the Ukrainian soldiers are being executed over there. It really shouldn't be like that. And I know, maybe not all the Russian soldiers are like this. They're probably not all executing Ukrainian soldiers, but there's probably some bad apples in there. Maybe even some commanders of some of these units that are issuing these orders to their subordinates to go ahead and carry out these executions. So very sad to see that. I remember even reporting just probably about maybe 2 months ago that we heard, I think it was up in the Kursk region, that a Ukrainian soldier was killed execution style with a sword. Okay, he was literally found in the middle of the street with a sword inside of him. So absolutely insane, guys. Okay, so one last thing I want to show you before we get you out of here again regarding this 6 billion going over to Ukraine. Just want to update you real quick on this from Bricks News. The Biden administration is planning to rush the last of over 6 billion remaining in Ukraine security assistance out the door by inauguration day, as the outgoing team prepares for the weapons flow to end once President-elect Donald Trump takes office. The plan, described by two administration officials who were granted anonymity to discuss internal matters, is the only option the White House has to keep sending equipment to Ukraine to fight off continued Russian offensives. But the problems are immense. It normally takes months for munitions and equipment to get to Ukraine after an aid package is announced, so anything rolled out in the coming weeks would likely not fully arrive until well into the Trump administration, and the next commander-in-chief could halt the shipments before they're on the ground. Okay, so looks like we're going to have President Biden, who's currently in office right now, trying to fast track this 6 billion in aid over to Ukraine, and it looks like many of that equipment and whatever may be shipped over to Ukraine might not even get there in time by the time Trump gets in. And if Trump gets in, he could halt a lot of these shipments going over to Ukraine. And it looks highly likely that when Donald Trump does get in, that he will probably put a major halt to any aid going over to Ukraine. So be prepared for that. Things are definitely going to change over here with this war, and a lot of this has to do with Donald Trump. Really not anything to do with any other type of support. Okay, so very interesting news coming out today. Just wanted to share these two stories with you, but primarily in regards to these Ukrainian prisoners of war. Over 124 of them being executed on the battlefield. So very terrible news. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope y'all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.